Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023. Happy New Year. Today was our monthly food distribution. We had a smaller crowd than normal today, but in cooperation with Caring Ministries, we distributed 60 boxes of food to an estimated 20 families, approximately 71 people involved. We're continuing on in our look at Matthew's view of the Christmas story here on the 10th day of Christmas. And here's the next segment of Matthew's story from Matthew chapter 2, verses 13 to 18. And I'm reading from the New Living Translation, second edition. After the wise men were gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. "Get up, flee to Egypt with the child and his mother," the angel said. "Stay there until I tell you to return, because Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." That night, Joseph left for Egypt with the child and Mary, his mother. They stayed there until Herod's death. This fulfilled what the Lord had spoken through the prophet. "I called my son out of Egypt." Herod was furious when he realized that the wise men had outwitted him. He sent soldiers to kill all the boys in and around Jerusalem who were 2 years old and under, based upon the wise men's report of the star's first appearance. Herod's brutal action fulfilled what God had spoken through the prophet Jeremiah. A cry was heard in Ramah, weeping in great mourning. Rachel weeps for her children, refusing to be comforted, for they are dead. What a tragic, tragic tale of a vicious, cold-blooded killer who was so insecure and jealous he could not stand to have someone else even make a claim to his title. And so God sends the angel again to Joseph in a dream. I think if I were Joseph, there's no amount of sleeping pills that would help me get a good night's rest for the rest of my life, because I'd always be expecting the angel to come wake me up again. But the angel's words disturbed Joseph enough that he and Mary got up that night and they fled to Egypt. Strange place to hide out. But they left that very night. Tremendous sense of urgency. Flee, he's coming to kill you. And they got up and they left. Herod was furious at these three crazy wise men, astrologers, magicians from back east had outwitted him. What the guys like Herod never really understand is that when they're fighting against the people who are doing God's will, that God's on their side. And Herod's pretty well always going to come up short. The trouble is, Herod was vicious and murderous and angry when he was outwitted. He had all of the boys, 2 years under, 2 years and under, killed in Bethlehem and all its surrounding areas. Terrible tragedy and loss. God had foreseen it. God had instructed Jeremiah to talk about weeping and great mourning, and indeed there would have been. We always want to protect the innocent little ones. And when they're the ones that suffer, it is a tragedy and a loss. A terrible tragedy and loss. We sometimes fail to notice, especially in the scripture, what a tremendous sense of loss some of the people in the Bible endured. And I hope that your life never has that kind of tragedy and that kind of loss. But if you ever do suffer that kind of tragedy and loss, and unfortunately it is a part of life, if you ever do have that hole left in your heart from that devastation, then I hope and pray that you've got somebody that can take your hand and walk with you through that time so that you're not alone, and that they can be God's representative for you. And here comes God, predicting it so far ahead of time, but still recognizing what a tremendous loss it was, and giving Joseph notice that they could flee in time and get away from there, because Jesus has great things to come, and God was going to protect him, especially when he was such a young and vulnerable age. I hope and pray that we always find God's protection. But if we ever are in that kind of loss, I hope and pray that we have someone who can take our hands and walk with us through the tough times and see us through to the other side. May God bless you, and may 2023 be a time where both someone walks with you through the tough times, and indeed, you help others through their tough times. May 2023 be a good year for you. God bless you.